This is going to be a preview to a major video I have coming up, as well as a review of the series of Parasaxis, The World If Napoleon Won. Firstly, how does Napoleon win? Well, what if the invasion of Russia went differently? In this reality, the Russians decided to opt for more conservative traditional strategies instead of the scorched earth tactics they used in our own timeline. Because of this, Napoleon is able to seize Moscow very quickly. Because of this, revolutions and insurgencies break out across the country, and France gains full domination over all of Europe. Peace is signed between the British and the French, as well as many other allies such as the Austrians, Prussians, and the remaining small sides of the Russian monarchy. It is signed in Stockholm and called the Treaty of Stockholm, and it causes a new period in European history, the Neo-Napoleonic era. Meanwhile, on the British Isles, they lose nearly all of their influence on the continent. Because of this, they begin to focus on foreign powers, in specific, Africa and the United States. During all this time, the US had been neutral. The British didn't want to push away some of their only possible allies, and so no War of 1812 occurs. Instead, the US becomes a secret ally of the UK. While technically on good terms with France, they begin doing trading business between the British and begin being on softer terms. The French and the British trade colonial holdings in Africa to try and gain more influence, specifically on the Gold Coast and in Western Africa. For example, in Senegal, Mali, Ghana, Nigeria, and Cameroon. Meanwhile, what happened to the Russians? In Russia, many breakaway groups such as the Free Russian Republic, the Imperial Russian Empire, the Kazakh Khanate, many anarchist groups across, and the Qing dynasty in the south. As well as this, Sweden takes over much of Finland, and the upper northeastern Russia. On Europe, the continent lay divided between two opposing sides. On one were the British, and on the other was the French. The French dominated most of Europe. However, they didn't have full control. Notably, many cities and places all over Europe were allied to the British, such as the Prussians, the tiny Austrian state who had lost many influence after Hungary seceded. While the northern part of Russia is now controlled by the Imperial Russian Empire, while in the south around Moscow is the Russian Republic. And one of these many conflicts that occurs is the Spanish Civil War. Yeah, it starts in the 1830s. On one side is the British, Spanish, and Portuguese, while on the other side is the Spanish Republic, the French, and many separatist groups that were suppressed in our own timeline, such as the Basque Catalonians and Galicians. Meanwhile, the Moroccans invade the southern area in a reverse reconquista. And finally, the last battle of the Spanish Civil War happens in Madrid. The momentum shifts toward the British and their allies as they seize the city. Horrific fighting occurs in the streets, however, after months turn to years of treacherous warfare, the Royalists take the city, and the French realize there was no longer any hope of taking back Spain. That's gonna be it for now. I do have a big video coming up in 1 to 2 weeks around about the entire um sorry, the entire lore of the series, so make sure to turn around for that. But for now, bye.